and introduced our families. I'm really shocked that we have behind you anti-Trump lawyers that you've invited. Do you want to introduce your lawyers that you brought with you today? I'm just noticing that they're aiding with your testimony. They keep handing you notes and whispering in your ears, so I figured you should probably, for the record, put their names in the record.
My lawyers have been publicly associated with me already.
So you're refusing to acknowledge the attorneys that are present in this hearing room helping you with your testimony?
The attorneys that I have been.
I mean, I've been in the legal world for a long time, and attorneys generally aren't shy about stating appearances and saying when they're here helping clients. So is there some reason you don't want to introduce the senators to the lawyers that are here and put their names on the record?
Yeah, I think.
I mean, they're passing you notes, so I think it's fair for the record to know who's passing you notes while you testify. And I really didn't mean that. I'm trying to be.
This moment shifts the hearing from policy oversight to institutional trust. It visually and verbally suggests unseen influence inside a public proceeding, triggering concerns about transparency, coordination, and credibility. Core ingredients for a viral accountability hook.
Moody, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for being here. My mic's on. Maybe I wasn't speaking loud enough. I have to say, I'm a new senator here, so this is all very troubling to me. But I'm really shocked. Most people come and introduce their families. I'm really shocked that we have behind you anti-Trump lawyers that you've invited. Do you want to introduce your lawyers that you brought with you today? I'm just noticing that they're aiding with your testimony. They keep handing you notes and whispering in your ears, so I figured you should probably, for the record, put their names in the record.
My lawyers have been publicly associated with me already.
So you're refusing to acknowledge the attorneys that are present in this hearing room helping you with your testimony?
The attorneys that I have been.
I mean, I've been in the legal world for a long time, and attorneys generally aren't shy about stating appearances and saying when they're here helping clients. So is there some reason you don't want to introduce the senators to the lawyers that are here and put their names on the record?
Yeah, I think.
I mean, they're passing you notes, so I think it's fair for the record to know who's passing you notes while you testify. And I really didn't mean that. I'm trying to be adversarial here. I just think for the record, it's probably good to know who's passing notes and whispering in your ear.
I think my counsel is happy to follow up with you. I was hoping that we would stay focused on the critical issues related to.
We're at a hearing because you called the chairman and talked about these issues, and the chairman has called a hearing, and now you're here testifying, and you have attorneys giving you notes and whispering in your ear, presumably about your testimony. So for the record, who is here with you, helping you with your testimony? I mean, look, I'm a judge, I'm a former federal prosecutor, I was attorney general, I was a lawyer. Like, this is not an abnormal thing.
Yeah, my attorneys have been publicly associated with me.
What attorneys are here with you at this hearing, assisting with your testimony and whispering in your ear? Please state their names for the record.
My two attorneys that are in the room would be happy to follow up with you after the discussion.
So, Mr. Chairman, I would like the record to reflect that you have called a hearing of two people who have hired anti-Trump lawyers. When did you hire them?
I sought their counsel, I believe on the day, on or before the day I was fired.
And is now refusing, now that they're in the courtroom and helping with testimony and passing notes on what to say, refusing to give their names to those of us that may not know their names. I mean, is there a reason you don't want to give their names? Are you afraid that it's going to come unraveled, that you have this whole network of people that's trying to embarrass the president or go after the president, and now you are joining this group? I mean, why don't you want to give their names?
Their names have been publicly associated with them. They issued public remarks early on.
Let me ask your colleague. I've noticed they've also been giving you notes too and whispering to you. Will you state their names?
So their names are Abby Lowell and Mark Zaid.
That wasn't too hard. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I really was genuinely asking so that the record was clear. But now I'm wondering what else we're trying to hide. And I'll go back to you. Did you plan to coordinate? And I'll go back to the original witness. Did you plan to coordinate this public spectacle surrounding your firing?
No.
And have you coordinated with Dr. Oury? Am I pronouncing that correctly? And I apologize if I'm not. Did you coordinate with her or anyone else that you worked with surrounding your leaving?
I did not coordinate with anyone surrounding my leaving. I was terminated abruptly.
So you had no advance plan to write an op-ed, do a public hearing. I noticed that you immediately called our chairman.
I had committed during my confirmation process several elements, including integrity, transparency, working with Congress.
But you had no advance plan with any colleagues?
I had no advance plan with any colleagues.
Dr. Oury, if there wasn't an advance plan, did you tell a reporter we agreed to do this together?
Myself, Dr. Jernigan, and Dr. Daskalakis.
Agreed to do this all together?
Once Dr. Menares was being terminated, the three of us knew that we could not remain given our ethical concerns and commitment to scientific integrity.
I just want to make a brief comment as my name was invoked. As the chairman of the committee with jurisdiction over the CDC that favorably reported Dr. Menares as the CDC director, it is entirely appropriate for someone with oversight concerns to contact my office or me, or frankly, any of us. Upon receiving outreach from Dr. Menares, I contacted both the Secretary and the White House to inquire what was happening and to express concerns about what was alleged. As soon as the director was fired, the HELP Committee began reviewing the situation as it is our responsibility, and any and all communications with the witnesses was conducted by HELP staff in coordination with attorneys.
Mr. Chairman, may I comment on that, please?
Yes, sir.
Very briefly, I find it rather astounding that anyone is concerned that government heads of agencies talk to the elected officials of the United States of America. That is what they are supposed to do. Thank you.
What unfolded in that moment was not loud. It was not explosive, but it was revealing. When Senator Moody paused the hearing and asked a simple question, "Who is advising you right now?" the room shifted. A witness, seated under oath, declined again and again to put names on the record, even as notes were passed, whispers exchanged, guidance delivered in real time. And in that hesitation, in that resistance to a basic act of transparency, the hearing exposed something far larger than a procedural dispute. It revealed a tension at the heart of modern governance. Who is really speaking when power is exercised, and who remains deliberately unseen? In that exchange, Senator Moody was not demanding a confession. He was demanding clarity. In hearings like this, appearances matter not for theater, but for accountability. When testimony is shaped in the room by unseen hands, the public has a right to know whose influence is present. The refusal to answer did not calm concerns. It intensified them. Each deflection widened the gap between the witness and the principle she had repeatedly claimed to uphold: transparency. This was not about hostility. The senator said so plainly. It was about the record, about whether the American people could trust what they were hearing without wondering who else was guiding the words. And when the answer finally came, when the names were spoken only after sustained pressure, the moment landed with weight. Not because of who the attorneys were, but because of how difficult it had been to say it out loud. That difficulty told its own story. Hearings are not courtrooms, but they are not casual conversations either. They are one of the few places where unelected officials must answer directly to elected representatives in public view without filters. When that process breaks down, even subtly, it raises questions that go far beyond a single witness. It asks whether transparency is still a shared value or merely a talking point invoked when convenient. Throughout the exchange, the witness emphasized experience, years in the legal world, familiarity with how these rooms work. But experience cuts both ways. Those who know the system best also know how to navigate its gray areas. They know when silence can be safer than disclosure. And that is precisely why oversight exists. Not to punish, but to illuminate. Senator Moody's words at the end of that exchange lingered in the air. Now I'm wondering what else we're trying to hide. It was not an accusation. It was a question born of process. If something so basic required resistance, what about the decisions that never reach a microphone? What about the conversations that happen before the hearing is called, before the cameras turn on? The hearing then moved forward, as hearings always do. Other witnesses spoke. explanations were offered, jurisdiction was cited, procedures defended, but the earlier moment could not be undone. It had already framed the rest of the discussion. Because trust, once strained, reshapes everything that follows. This is the challenge facing institutions today. Public confidence does not erode only through scandal. It erodes through small moments of evasion, through answers that arrive too late, through transparency that feels negotiated instead of automatic. And when citizens watch these hearings, they are not only listening for policy, they are watching for posture, for openness, for a willingness to stand fully in the light. The Constitution does not require perfection from those who serve. It requires accountability. Oversight is not harassment. It is the mechanism by which power remains tethered to the people. When witnesses resist that process, even briefly, they test the very norms that protect democratic legitimacy. What this moment ultimately revealed was not a conspiracy, but a mindset. A belief that certain details are optional, that some influences are better left unnamed. And in an era when trust in institutions is already fragile, that mindset carries consequences. Because the public understands something instinctively. If leaders ask for faith, they must first offer clarity. If they demand trust, they must earn it, not with speeches, but with straightforward answers. This hearing was a reminder that democracy does not collapse in a single dramatic event. It weakens when transparency becomes conditional, when accountability feels negotiated. When simple questions meet complicated resistance. And yet, it was also a reminder of why these rooms matter, why senators ask uncomfortable questions, why the record exists, why cameras stay on, because even moments of tension serve a purpose. They expose the distance between principle and practice. And they give the public the chance to see that distance for themselves. In the end, this was not about attorneys in a room. It was about whether openness remains the default setting of public service, or whether it must now be forced, question by question. The strength of a system is measured not by how it performs when convenient, but by how it responds when challenged. Today, that challenge was quiet, procedural, and unmistakable. The question now belongs to the public. What kind of governance do we accept? And how much opacity are we willing to tolerate before trust finally breaks? If you believe accountability matters, if you believe transparency should never be optional, support our work. Subscribe to Liberty Report USA.